So morning, everyone. Since we only have 1 hour for the tutorial, so I decided to make it into online, in an online mode. So we will discuss about the assignment, some of the mistake and of you did. After the discussion, if you like to improve it, feel free to improve it within this week. So after that, we will touch about let's try for the mean variance. That's topic one. Uh, yeah. So let's get into it. So let's have a look on our assignment. Okay. If you look at this, our assignment is actually given with a background story and the data source. So please clearly mention about the data source. And then, so why this important? This is the example. If you're not showing the number of data set, it's difficult for me to know which data set you are referring. You might say 07 is 7, but it's already mentioned there. Please mention clearly. This is a good example. So it's showing 3 plus 1, 11. 11 plus 1 plus 1 is 2. So the data set is 0, 2. Okay, so and if you refer to the uh, assignment, okay, it's given you some of the mission that you need to do and with the clues. So step by step, follow the clues to find the answer. So some of you might say, hey, age should be numerical. Well, for this case, your friend choose as categorical. So what is your justification? You need to clearly mention. So after that, in this case, your friend decided to choose night shift is the faulty uh, session shift. So for the step clue number 2, you only focus on the night shift. So you don't need to calculate for the night day shift anymore. It's mentioning clearly that the faulty happened in night shift. So for the clue number 2, I would actually like you to compare between Excel and Google Colab. So this could help you to familiarize with the Excel and familiarize with the Google Colab. Well, with Gemini, it's quite straightforward. So what is the problem for this example is you show the Excel, but you didn't show the Google Colab. And after you're showing it, it should be have some discussion. For example, among these three parameter, so the weight is having the highest standard deviation. What does that mean? Well, for the machine B, it seems like the standard deviation that very large is highest is also weight. What does that mean? So means that the high possibility that happened um, in the faulty could be the weight, could be. We don't know yet, right? That is your first screening. Okay, so the third one is we convert them into box plot and the histogram. So in this diagram, what the problem is, you didn't mention clearly whether this is night shift or day shift. Even though you mentioned that, I already mentioned at the beginning is night shift. Indirectly, you know that, but be realistic, be clear so that it won't happen again to confuse your examiner or your reader in future. Okay, so let's have a look on this part. When you do the calculation, your standard deviation for the weight is highest. But when you do your box plot, it seems like your machine for diameter is highest, is much higher than the others. Is that showing the correct way? This dot box plot is actually another way to help you to double check with your clue tool. Right. And what you can observe from this data, you can explain a little bit. So most of the shifts, they are in a bell curve, it's very random, or so on. Not just showing the graph, okay? So after that, based on that, it's confirmed that probably based on your data, the diameter is too long. But when you look at clue number 2, you're showing that the standard deviation is high. But your step 2, 3, you mentioned that your diameter is standard deviation is high, which is contradictory. So you have to double check with it. And what else? What else missing in this assignment is your proof of coding. I know you did the coding, but it's just a screenshot as appendix will do. All right. So next, for the let's try session. So for the let's try session, we did some example. So I also show you the table. This is the simplest way. Well, it's mentioned like Excel, but actually you are doing indirectly typing in a manual way. Well, it's okay. I really appreciate, I think Sean show the manual and also the Excel and also the Google Colab. So let's try to see. I'm not sure. I think this is Shafiq one. We have Parveen. Okay, I can't find it now. Doesn't matter. So this is what the purpose of let's try. So you first use the manual, the equation that we have learned, and then you try to use Excel to generate your position and your number, and you confirm with the Google Colab. So this is a self practice assignment. It's very simple one. From there, you can have your conclusion. Okay, let's try for the mean, for the z-score. We learned that the z-score is equals to x minus mean over standard deviation. It's pretty simple. So you just put the mean, the standard deviation at the actual value, then you can get your z-score. But what is that means? And I can see that some of you start warming up to draw up the graph using Excel and Collapse. That's pretty good. Indirectly, but I think the Excel is actually Google Colab one. No? Anyway, so the point is you can show the graph and the z-score, the location. But what is the value means? If you refer to the slide, the last slide, there is a graph standard normal probability. So the z-score is 1.25. From there, you actually can find the probability for both hydraulic valve and electric motor has probability that functioning well is 0.867%. Means that 1 minus 0.86 is the probability that the equipment will be failure. So means both of the equipment is pretty well because they have the same probability. All right. So for the let's try number 2, we do the same thing and you did the Excel file of calculation and you also do the Google Colab with the graph. That's very good. Okay. So, and your friend also compare this, compare the z-score. But what does that means? So I will really like you to try to refer to the table, or you can refer to the YouTube of Google to find the standard normal probability table, and then find the probability of the material A. So by visualize the probability for the material B has higher probability, right? So, then the material A. So, what is that means? So that is your conclusion. Okay? So by adding this to find the probability value, you can actually indirectly you are moving to the next topic. Right? So I hope you try to use this time to do the trying for your last try and do the amendment for your correction of your assignment. Thank you. Bye.